Chapter 42. The Three Gods. The skies above the Kianvati Mountains. Zurek descended like a nightmare-given form. A tempest of stolen, golden light and writhing, living shadow coiling around his massive frame. Crimson lightning crackled across his wings as he glared down at the shattered mountainside where Azoth and Kale stood shoulder to shoulder. The very air seemed to recoil from him. Touching, Zarek snarled, his voice a thunderclap laced with venom. Father and son, reunited at last. How long do you think that fragile little bond will last before the shadow devours him again, Azoth? Before your precious boy becomes the monster you always feared? Azoth stepped forward, his sword Dawn's edge raised high. Golden ichor still dripped from the deep gash in his side, sizzling where it struck the broken stone. Beside him, Kale's blade flickered between blinding white and devouring black, his eyes warring between divine gold and corrupted crimson. "Release my wife," Azoth commanded, his voice ringing with the unassailable authority of the supreme deity. "This ends now." Zarek. No more stolen power. No more betrayal. Zarek threw back his head and laughed, a cold, hateful sound that rolled across the battlefield like an avalanche. "You still think you can command me, brother? After everything you've lost? After you cast me into the void and stole the throne that should have been mine?" He thrust both hands forward. Massive waves of shadow and twisted creation magic erupted toward them, screaming with the voices of 1,000 corrupted souls. Azoth and Kale moved as one. Azoth summoned a radiant shield of pure order, its surface etched with flowing runes of light. Kale struck from the flank with a volatile blast of unstable golden shadow energy. The three opposing powers collided in a cataclysmic detonation that split the sky and sent shockwaves tearing through both armies below. Mountains groaned and cracked. Rivers of golden blood and black ichor rained upon the battlefield. The war around them surged with desperate ferocity. Silver Guard angels and mortal paladins fought with renewed hope now that their prince had returned. Grow and Shadow Sworn answered with even greater savagery, their war cries echoing like the howls of the damned. Nyctopia, Obsidian Throne Room. Illyria could barely lift her head. The crown of thorns and obsidian chains pulsed greedily, draining her divine essence faster than ever before. Her once brilliant golden glow had faded to a faint, flickering shimmer, yet she continued feeding every last fragment of strength into that tiny golden spark inside her distant sun. A red wizard approached, ritual dagger raised, its blade etched with blood runes that hissed and smoked. Illyria looked up at him through half-lidded eyes, her voice a quiet whisper that somehow filled the chamber. "You will lose," she said, defiance burning in every syllable. "Even if you kill me, love always wins in the end. It outlasts crowns. It outlasts chains. It outlasts you." The red wizard hesitated for half a second, long enough for her words to sink like seeds into the cracked soil of his soul. The battlefield, Zarek unleashed a savage barrage, forcing Azoth and Kale onto the defensive. Every strike carried Illyria's stolen power, twisted into something cruel and mocking. "You banished me," Zarek roared, swinging a colossal, shadow-forged blade at Azoth. "You took my throne, my birthright, everything. Now I will take everything from you, starting with your precious queen and ending with the broken shadow you call a son." Kale intercepted the blow, their blades locking with a screech of divine metal. For one searing moment, cousin faced cousin. "I won't let you hurt them anymore," Kale growled, the golden spark in his eyes flaring brighter. His voice cracked with strain as the shadow within him tried to surge forward. "I choose them. I choose this." Zarek sneered, fangs bared. "You're already hurting them, traitor. Every breath you take is poison to your mother. Every time you falter, you prove you are never worthy of the light." He headbutted Kale with brutal force, sending him crashing into a mountainside in an explosion of rock and dust. Then he turned on Azoth with pure, unfiltered hatred blazing in his crimson eyes. Azoth met him head-on, Their clash shook the entire mountain range. Golden sparks and black lightning erupted with every parry and riposte. "You chose this path, Zarek," Azoth said through gritted teeth, golden blood streaming down his chest. "We could have found another way. We were brothers once. There is no other way." Zarek screamed, his voice raw with centuries of rage. "Only power. Only victory. You taught me that when you cast me out." He drove Azoth back with a brutal overhead strike that opened anew. Searing wound across the supreme deity's chest. Azoth staggered but did not fall. Kale roared and launched himself back into the fray, tackling Zarek from the side. The three of them tumbled through the air in a violent storm of light, shadow, and divine blood gods locked in a cataclysmic dance of family and fury. Nyctopia, Illyria felt her strength failing. The light within her guttered like a candle in a hurricane. She closed her eyes and poured everything she had left into one final, desperate pulse of love toward her husband and her son. A mother's prayer, raw and unbreakable. "Hold on," she whispered directly into their minds, her voice warm and steady despite the pain. "I'm still with you, always." Then her glow dimmed dangerously low. The Red Wizard smiled, convinced they had finally broken her. They were wrong.
The sky.
Both Azoth and Kale suddenly froze mid-strike as Illyria's final gift washed over them, a torrent of pure, unconditional love that cut through the chaos like dawn-piercing night. For one perfect, crystalline moment, the three of them, father, mother, and son, were connected again across the vast distance. Azoth felt her warmth in his wounds. Kale felt her faith anchoring the golden spark inside him. Azoth's eyes filled with tears, even as his power surged. Kale's golden spark blazed like a newborn star, pushing back the crimson shadows in his veins. They turned toward Zarek together, renewed and unbreakable. The battle for their family and for the fate of a scare had reached its most desperate, shining hour.